Hello, hello, hello. Oh, good Lord. Now it's working. Whew, boy. All right. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for, wait a minute. What do I always say? Welcome to Royal Sussex. Welcome, one and all. Okay. All right. So, there was the iOS 18. You know how you have to redo your computer, the Apple computer? Well, I did that last night, and for whatever reason, it cut off the microphone. So everything said it was on, but it was not. So I'm just like, hello, hello, hello. But now I can see that it's working. So anyway, never mind all that. What a nightmare. Wow, 8 minutes of hello, hello, hello. Anyway, that's enough of all that who shot John. The mic is working, and that's all that matters. Okay, so let me get started then. God, that was scary. I'm looking at everything. Finally I just unplugged the microphone and plugged it back in and it came right up. I'm telling you, there's nothing better than just unplugging it and plug it back in. Anyway, if you have the iOS 18, well, if you have a Apple computer and you do the iOS, just remember something may not work when you try to turn it on. Um, okay, let me see who was here first. That's always fun to figure out. Connie Balmer! Hey, Connie Balmer was here first. And Lydia Washington says, no sound. Ain't no sound. Ain't no sound. It ain't no sound. Ain't no sound. It ain't no sound. But now it's working. Okay. All right. Let me see here. There we go. Got my slides up. And I'll take that away. There. Perfect. Perfection. So, um, something very interesting happened. Let me show you. There was a choir of 350 people at the Althorp estate. You see there? Meeting some of the wonderful ladies of the rock choir doing their recording for the Diana Award at the Althorp today. Charles Spencer said in his tweet today, what a treat to welcome 350 members of the rock choir to Althorp, recording a charity single for the wonderful Diana Award. Was set up 25 years ago to continue my sister's legacy of care and hope among young people all over the world. How sweet is that? I wish I could play it for you, but you know how that is. Might be a copyright. So, yeah, there were 300. Look at there. Now, that, of course, is the Althorp House, which is part of the Althorp estate. And not far from that location, that is where they have the final resting place of Princess Diana. And I tell you, the next time I go to the UK, if they don't turn me around at the airport, I am going to make it a point to go to Althorp House and take a tour. Judy Matassit, just in time, coming from my 50th class reunion. 50 years? Wow. Congratulations for that. How nice was that? Everybody's different, I'm guessing. uh Everybody's a little different. Some people are a little shorter, a little heavier. And I see that every time I look in the mirror. A little shorter, a little heavier. Um, but yeah, praise the Lord for that. What a great thing to be able do is to go to a 50th class reunion. Congratulations to you. Hello, Lady T. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, well thank you. I'm glad to be able to figure that out. Didn't know what had happened. What's that? I'm at hell, so I'll have to catch up later. Is that home or hell? I'm going to break. Um, I'm going to break, and I won't. Oh, okay. Oh, you mean work? What kind of work do you do? What kind of work do you do? I felt that way though. I've been at work, and I'm like, God, this is hell, isn't it? Okay. Hello, Vaughn. Thank you so much for being here with us. Okay, let's get on with it then, shall we? Oprah's Love In would have once been a slam dunk for Harry and Meghan. Why weren't they there? Now, you see, somebody is trying to drum up a bunch of shade. I did not read the article. I did not want to give them the engagement, but because if you click on it, then all kind of advertisements and everything pop up, and they get paid for that. All of those advertisements that are popping up uh, while you're looking at an article is nothing but money in the bank for the perpetrators. But yeah, why weren't they there? So, unlike Meryl Streep, Julia Roberts, Bryan Cranston, who have picked their sides, the Sussexes are deliberately politically inactive. Um, Deliberately politically inactive, or are they just honoring their commitments as member of the royal family? Harry, of course, is not allowed to be political, and Meghan, who is a princess of the realm, the Duchess of Sussex, and the mother of a prince and princess, is she did vote in 2020, but she is respecting her position and staying mum about the election, which is just what she's supposed to do. So I respect both of them for staying out of it. It would be a provocative thing for them to get involved with the election. But as I said, the Sussexes have not put a foot wrong. They have honored their positions ever since they left Salt Island, and they're doing what they're supposed to do. So if the tabloids want to try to goat them into something, or I'm going to tell you, it's not even as serious as that. It seems like they have someone on the payroll who just sits up and think of every possible scenario in which you can throw Harry's and Meghan's name in there, right? This looks like one of those headlines that could have been written by one of the derangers. You see what I'm saying? It's a symbiotic relationship where the tabloids feed lines and what do you call it, and trends and such to the derangers and vice versa. Some things are just too deranged to be from a reporter. This is something that the conspiracy theorists have thought up, the tinfoil hat people, and then, of course, as they say, art becomes what is it? Art imitates life. In this case, the deranged imitate journalism and vice versa. So that's probably where that comes from. Carolyn Tubbs, prayers for successful surgery. Here, here. Thank you so much for that, Lydia Washington. Yes, prayers for a successful surgery. Absolutely. Yeah, and someone in my family is having surgery soon. And it's like a 4-hour procedure. I'm just like, ooh, that's a long time, but it takes as long as it takes. And, you know, I am I am one of those people that trust the science, and medical science has come a long way. And I like to believe that if they didn't think knew what they were doing, then they would not do it. So it's best to have a positive mind and to be very prayerful before surgery. Um, right? That's how I feel about it. Um, but we're going to do this just the same. There we go. A Protestant's prayer. And if you're a Catholic or something else, we won't hold that against you. Okay. Heavenly Father, grant me joyful acceptance of the surgery which awaits me, and let this be the relief and cure which I seek. Make skilled the work of the surgeon and that of his team, for it is unto their knowledge and skill that I give myself for healing. I pray to you, O Lord, that this procedure will be without complication and that my recovery will be speedy and complete. Amen. There we go. And thank you again, Lydia, for the super chat. Lex says, anything to get the heat off William and Andrew. Pathetic. Thank you very much, Legs. Yeah, when I saw this, I'm just like, seriously? Seriously? They really want to declare the Sussexes as ultra liberal and so on and so forth. The truth is, nobody knows. One could only assume, but nobody knows. And that's just the way it's going to stay. I am totally respectful of their privacy because people are hoping that they paint themselves in a corner. They're always looking for them to make a misstep, and they just won't give them the satisfaction of it. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry speaks out ahead of the U.S. presidential election. Every voice matters. And that's all they said. They're just telling people to exercise their constitutional right. And of course, I made a video the other day with this thumbnail. As you can see, Meghan is wearing her Archwell hat. And below you can see the sticker right there. It says, I voted. So yeah, Harry, of course, may not have that privilege because, he's not an American citizen. But Meghan, of course, is an American citizen, and she's an American-born citizen, which means that yes, 35 years of age and American-born, that's your only qualification to run for president, as evident. So back in 2020, they had a rollout for the voter registration, and the rollout took place during the Time 100 list. And if you recall, they sat on the park bench for the Time 100 list, and of course, they spoke about the ability to register and vote. And of course, National Voter Registration Day was just the other day, and the people of Archwell actually used a template that they downloaded from the computer that they used to create handwritten letters so that they could mail them to people in the community to help get the vote out. And there's James Holt of the Archwell right there. And unfortunately, I don't know who those ladies are in the background, but yeah, so that is Archwell's people volunteering to get the word out to vote. In honor of National Voter Registration Day, Archwell Foundation team came together for a meaningful volunteer activity to support and empower our community. Using Vote Forward's impactful letter writing tool, our team wrote personalized letters encouraging unregistered voters to take a crucial step, registering to vote. Voting is not just a right, it's a fundamental way to influence the fate of our communities. At Archwell Foundation, we recognize the civic engagement, no matter one's political party, is at the heart of a more just and equitable world. By participating in initiatives like this, we aim to amplify the message that every voice matters. So we invite you, et cetera, et cetera. Go to vote.gov, right? Go to vote.gov so you can figure out where to vote. Lex says, we got AI Kate did that bench talk to troll Meghan. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is exactly where that comes from. It was a way of trolling. Legs, I don't know if you saw it today, but that whole collage video that thing that Kate did you know that came from, I believe they said it was from, what is that vampire movie, Twilight? Or whatever it is, that's where it comes from. Someone actually has the two videos running like back and forth of each other. And honestly, it is the same thing, especially the part where they're laying on the ground looking at each other, and Kate has hyperextended her arm out for William to rest his big egg head on. That is, yes, Twilight. It was absolutely a scene from Twilight. They have no shame. They have absolutely no shame. It's disgusting that they have absolutely zero originality. And they don't care whose images they invoke to get some type of recognition. The problem is they're not very good at it. It was eerily creepy. They have no, yeah, they just absolutely have no original thoughts in their head. It is absolutely disgusting. Do you hear me? Disgusting. Okay. And lastly, about the voting, one of the things that we learned back in 2020 is that the Duchess of Sussex and Gloria Steinem, they both spent some time together, and during their visit, they did some cold calls, calling out to their neighbors or calling wherever they called to tell people to vote. That really did happen. So just you can assume who they're voting for. I mean, but you don't know. So, Meghan Markle's message to her employees revealed as fresh details emerge after dictator claims. Now, this is going to really bake your noodle. Claims over Meghan's attitude have been blasted as total nonsense by Archwell sources. Okay, by Archwell sources. Hear me out. Allegations about Meghan Markle's attitude to her staff have been labeled fabrications by Archwell insider GBNews can exclusively reveal. You mean to tell me that someone from Archwell exclusively spoke to GBNews? All right, whatever. A damning report published by The Hollywood Reporter had labeled Meghan, Duchess, difficult and alleged everyone's terrified of her as scathing claims about working conditions under the Sussexes came to light. Okay. Came to light. There we go. Let me do that. Wunderbar. Okay, the outlet had included source quotes saying the Duchess marches around like a dictator in high heels, fuming and barking orders, while in the past, Meghan herself called comments on her so called bullying behavior a calculated smear campaign, which it was. But now, GB News has unearthed fresh details which look to have put the claims to bed in a new twist in the staffing saga. GB News is trying to set the record straight. Okay. GB News has been handed an absolute denial of allegations, as well as Meghan's message to her employees, and has confirmed with several current staffers that the Duchess Difficult moniker has never been used. One Archwell source, who asked not to be named, of course, these quotes were fabricated by someone lacking knowledge of our company. The Duke and Duchess work from Montecito, and we're based in Hollywood. They likely think we're all in the same office and that this quote would fly, but circumstances don't even allow for it. So, once again, they obviously believe that they are based in the same location, but they are not. Some of them are, well, the employees are in Hollywood and the Sussexes are in Montecito. Okay, now that's something to think about. If she's marching around and barking orders, no Archwell employee could factually claim that. It's total nonsense. The Duchess of Sussex had also been targeted by claims that she had filed angry 5 a.m. emails to employees in response. Another source said, who hasn't sent an email when they can't sleep or are awake early. I've never once ever gotten an email either from either one of them at that hour. And even if I did, the Duchess specifically notes in her email signature that everyone has a different working day and to not feel obligated to respond outside of normal business hours. These source quotes don't make any sense. In other condemnations of claims, GB News understands that Meghan's email signature contains the phrase, "My working day may not be your working day. Please do not feel obliged to reply to this email outside of normal working hours." The rebuttals from insiders follow further criticism of the Hollywood Reporter article from a friend of the Sussexes. They told the Mail that the reporting is ill informed and very one sided. So that was the big revelation today. And not to mention, shocking that it came from GB News, which of course I call GD News for obvious reasons, but that it came from GD News of all people, which isn't even really news. But I'm like, you do know that that is, a helpful thing to, it's a, well, anyway, Leg says someone's trial period knew this already. It is the new way to troll Harry and Meghan, lie even though they know otherwise, then a few days later tell the truth. Creeps. Yeah. Well, I would say it's a vindication of everything that was said by the Hollywood Reporter. But um, either way, what some people are thinking is that there may have been some lawyers involved. Okay. There may have been some lawyers involved, and this is an opportunity for some people to save face rather, and yet, you know, get the truth out there. Now, of course, the correction will never be as loud as the misinformation or the lie, if you will. But let's take a look at what some of the other squatties have had to say about this. Okay. Anne Boleyn says GB News wrote a correct article. Hell has frozen over. Let's see. And this, oh, yeah, this is the same thing. Why did I do that? Is it the one Archwell source? Had gotten the email. Okay. They told the mail that the reporter. Okay. Yeah, that is the same thing. Why did I do that? I don't know. And then here, oh, yeah, I know why. Because the reason why I did that is because this is what was shared on Twitter, but I wanted to make sure that it was the actual thing. So I had to go and verify it myself. And that's why I have it twice. Okay. So for the most part, I decided to block the names of these accounts. But let me see. Someone said, I need to lie down. Well, when GB News says something like that, it is time to go lay down somewhere. Someone else said, right? Oh, yeah, that was Anne Boleyn. She's like, right? I need to lie down too. I'm flabbergasted. There was no snark or dig either. Almost sounded like a legit news organization. Yeah, that is true. It almost sounds like a real news organization. Let me see. I'm not sure about the speaking to Archwell part, but the Sussexes definitely have a new media approach. Basically, they are fighting back now and being more proactive. You know, that that article, I told you guys, it rubbed me the wrong way day one. And usually something like that, I would ignore it. Sometimes completely ignore it for good. But that one, I felt like I needed to say something because it was particularly malicious. It had a particular malicious spin to it. And I felt like it was something exceptionally shady about it. Someone else said the Hollywood Reporter and New York Post articles backfired and didn't do the job except to show more British shenanigans. Jason Knopf got dragged and laughed at all over social media when Meghan's email got released. And that is the thing I'm still trying to figure out, where did that email come from? So Hollywood Reporter was recycling what is that? Well, anyway, from Kensington Palace and attributing it to Archwell is so stupid. This is America. If employees feel mistreated, they are actually employee tribunals here. And someone else says, I think the comms at Archwell has demanded the identities of the 15 employees who spoke up. Huh. So it's from Archwell. People from Archwell don't leak. Yeah, that's the thing that's kind of stuck out right there, was someone from Archwell. Seriously, someone fanned me quickly. Yeah, someone fanned me quickly. Hell hasn't frozen over. WME attorneys let British media know that any slander and defamation of their clients won't be tolerated and the source will be dealt with swiftly in court. In other words, keeps Meghan's name out your lying mouths or else. Let's see. They want access as they realize UK royals bring nothing to the table. So no money made, and how long can they continue writing negative articles about Meg as people are no longer buying it? And someone else says that means that the email was cropped from Jason Knopf not to show her signature. And someone else says tiring, truth or lies. I don't believe anything coming out of GB, reality TV media, and wouldn't give credence anything they put out there about Meghan. And Archwell is not in their home. The office has always been in Los Angeles. So when she supposedly stormed around the office barking at employees, she's in Montecito getting her toddlers ready for school and working from home. One must wear the thinking cap at all times. Hmm. Very interesting way. And the other thing that I want you to take note of is Friday. And that is definitely the kind of thing that you do on a Friday. That's why they call it the Friday news dump. Anything that you don't really want noticed, but you feel obliged to share, that has been a tactic of the White House for a long time, which is why they call it the Friday afternoon news dump. Miss G says the hit piece was a flop. Number two, the UK tabloids orchestrated it. Number three, they are embarrassed and now trying to act like they did better research. And number four, they didn't speak to anyone at Archwell. They are literally talking to themselves and putting out their own fire. They are talking to themselves and putting out their own fires. And let's see. And then here it says, not that we needed anyone to confirm that the Hollywood Reporter lied about Meghan, but this could have been avoided if the Hollywood Reporter had done proper research. We all saw the discrepancies in dates and people mentioned. They really tarnished their so called reliable reputation for the UK talking point. Sad. Here, here. Yeah, it's like I said, it was something particularly malicious about that article that really rubbed me the wrong way. What the media doesn't say about our monarchy, no one knows about how they're funded, but who's interested in that story when you could talk about Harry and William having a spat? This week's new Media Storm pod is out now. Anyway, that is from the Byline Times, Byline Investigates. So I am going to dig into that one. And of course, when I'm done with it, I will share it with you. But there is what do you call it? There's a podcast called Media Storm. And let me see. Is there a link for that? Yeah, I haven't had a chance to dig into this one yet, but it should be very good. Media Storm. Yeah, so let me dig around that one and I will share it with you as soon as I can. But in the meantime, if you want to look for it yourself, it is called Media Storm. Let me see. Yes, I neglected to get the link for that one. I'm looking at the article right now to say, oh, huh. Let me see. Depravity that millions of people had to endure in the name of the monarch, even the clothing, the crown, and gems, everything is soaked in blood. Matilda Malison and Helena Wadia, journalism. Wait, so that's got to be, is that a podcast or no? I'm looking right here. Yeah, it says right here, Media Storm. Well, here, let me show you what I got. Let me show you what I got, and then you'll know what you need to look for. Okay, give me just a second, and I'll share this with you. Okay, here goes. Right there. See there? It says British Podcast Award Media Storm. Um, but now how do I find that one? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Oh well. Okay. Well, I don't see the link for it. Otherwise, I would share it with you. But oh, I got it. I got it. Okay, hold on. I got the link. What the media won't tell you about the monarchy. Ooh, that sounds juicy. What the media won't tell you about the monarchy. Now, let me see if I managed to do that before Lydia. Ooh, I did. I beat Lydia to it. Uh-huh. Okay, let me hurry up and put it up there then. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll put it on the community tab. That's what I'll do. I'll put it on the community tab with that picture that I just screenshot. That'll be better. So that way, okay, I'm going to go to community. I'm going to grab that photo and put that there. Ha, there we go. Along with the link. Wunderbar. Okay, it's on the community tab now. Got it. Well, that was too easy. And I hope Celibici come on tomorrow. Okay, so anyway, that's what you're looking for right there. The media storm. And then, of course, we'll discuss it. Take that away. Now, King Charles pays rise could fund fuel bills for 150,000 pensioners. This guy on LBC really rattled the cage that the monarchy lives in. The actually the whole power establishment with those few words, he said the king's pay rise could fuel bills. Could fund fuel bills for 150,000 pensioners. You know, he said the quiet part out loud. And one of the squatties commented, UK media are interested in what Harry and Meghan are doing. paying in tax, that is, in the USA for their home, but they are not concerned about the taxpayer funded royals avoiding paying taxes in the UK by not being transparent or by not showing their financial records. And over here it says the royal family cost UK taxpayers over 120 million last year, while Meghan and Harry remain financially independent. I love how attacks on Harry and Meghan actually knock a leg of from underneath the royal family's own table. Their fixation on how Harry and Meghan earn money has made everyone fixated on how they earn theirs. It is truly glorious to behold. They're killing themselves with their hate and jealousy. Okay? Now, those are quotes from the Sausage Squad. Those are quotes from the Sausage Squad. And it is so true. It is so true. I don't get why how they miss the fact that their persistent pettiness is actually undoing the monarchy. I think they're listening to the tabloids. They're listening to their friends in the Royal Rota, and there's this make believe that they're winning, but they're really losing, because increasingly more people that were not interested in the royal family are actually paying attention to their income, to their money, to the sovereign grant, to their pettiness. And I think a lot of that started with the Queen's funeral, where a greater sector of like all of humanity was there to see the spectacle of the Queen's funeral. And instead, they saw a bunch of petty, vindictive, shady people. Harry is Diana's son. There's not a corner of this world that he can go to that people don't love him. And they are not going to undo that. And we already know, wherever they go, if Harry shows up and Meghan's not there, there seems to be total disappointment. Just like when he went to Nigeria and he went to see the veterans, the wounded soldiers, and he wanted to make sure that the focus was on them. Yeah, that's nice, but where's Meghan? We appreciate that, but where's Meghan? We wanted to see Meghan. And that's just the way it is. They are the most popular royal couple on the face of the earth. They are the most photographed royal couple. And they truly are. They are the most photographed royal couple. And that's even before Kitty took off on sick leave. That was even before that. So there you have it. The Sussexes have had quite a few engagements since they left Narnia. They've had quite a few. And when you go back and you look at some of the photos, you're just like, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, I forgot about that. And their photos are all over the world. Some of the most obscure press are running their photos. And a lot of those same obscure magazines and newspapers, they're not interested in the rest of that family. And that bugs them. They are really, really done in by that. And I could not be more pleased. Judy Matasset, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thanks for being a member. And as always, thank you for supporting Royal Sussex. Now, Princess Kate's issue health warning as she eyes up 3 major events within weeks. Are you serious? 3 major events within weeks. Oh, the fragility of the English rose. You all, they again, they labor under the assumption that they're popular. I'm going to go right back to square one. Kate was in the hospital. There were no flowers delivered from the public. There was no vigil outside the hospital. You know, when Liberace died, there was a vigil outside of his home. Michael Jackson, there was a vigil outside of the hospital. Kate Middleton had this emergency surgery. No matter how they downplayed it, it was an emergency. Nothing. Charles was in the hospital, right? And being, older, there's a lot of risk. Again, there was no vigil. There was no vigil for Charles. There was no vigil for Kate. No one was interested and no one cared. The only thing that I noticed was that people were calling into radio shows and television shows saying, well, they get the best of care. They get to jump the queue. They're better off than I am. That was all we got. Their popularity is in the toilet, and it has been for quite some time. And in spite of that, they are going to make matters worse, not better, by showcasing the fragility of Kate Middleton. The fact that people thought that Kate was missing, and even worse, there were some people who wondered if her husband had done something to her, or if the institution had done their thing again, how they do women that marry into the family. And in spite of the worst possible things that you could think of, the world was not coming to a stop. People were actually laughing at her, laughing at the institution. The royal family was a global joke during that period. Princess Kate has been urged to pace herself and ensure she plans a gradual return to royal duties for the sake of her health, the country, and her family. It comes after she undertook her first official meeting of the year on Tuesday, which has been widely welcomed as a good sign in the course of her cancer recovery. However, Dickie Arbiter, who is not a medical professional, that's just Dickie Arbiter, who served as the Queen's press spokesperson, that is, from 1998 until 2000, said she shouldn't be pushing herself to return to work too soon. Did Dickie Arbiter watch the video of them at the beach and in the forest and walking through fields of grain? Did Dickie Arbiter not see Kate Middleton straddle that bale of hay like she was in an old Western rodeo? Because I did. She literally jumped up. Her feet left the ground and she bounced on that bale of hay. She pranced, she rolled, she strolled, she leaned, she talked, she laughed, she threw her head back. And yet, Dickie Arbiter is saying, careful now, Kate, pace yourself. Pace yourself like every working class person who has a family to feed and children to care for. Pace yourself because you know that everyone in the country has a staff of 62 people that are going to wash the clothes, cook the meals, drive the cars, do the shopping. They have a staff of 62, just like you. So pace yourself, Kate Middleton. Be careful. Don't do too much because everybody else in the same situation that you're in that has managed to make a video leaping on top of a bale of hay know better than to do too much too soon, right? Other people who was seen running out of the farmer's market, because that person was almost skipping, running out of the farmer's market with a big smile and looking just as healthy as could be. Everybody knows that that person running out of the farmer's market needs to pace herself before she goes back to cutting ribbons and sitting in meetings looking interested. I'm telling you, this article does not help. This is from the Express, by the way, a royal propagandist newspaper, if I've ever seen one. Connie Balmer, thank you so much. Thank you, Baron, for the work. Well, thank you, Connie Balmer. Thank you very much. So it will be a slow adjustment to getting back on duty, and we mustn't expect anything mammoth overnight. We mustn't expect anything mammoth overnight, he said. Look, that's Kate Middleton. Don't expect anything anyway. Even if she had never gone to the hospital, even if they never said she was ill, don't expect anything mammoth from her. But Mr. Arbiter said, now you listen, you guys. The reason I'm pointing this out is because you know that Dickie Arbiter allegedly was dispatched by Kensington Palace to remind people that yes, she's coming back to work, but she's only doing 3 engagements for the rest of the year. They're not weeks apart, they're months apart. She's only doing 3 engagements for the rest of the year. And that's why they're sending Dickie Arbiter out to warn people to pump the brakes. Don't get too excited because you ain't going to see that much of her. But Mr. Arbiter said that she mustn't feel rushed into a more fulsome schedule. He said she shouldn't be pushing herself, and she certainly shouldn't be pushing herself to keep people happy. And she's coming back. She will do it gradually and in her time. You damn right she is. She gonna do it gradually and in her time. And I wouldn't expect her to do it any other way. She's not out of the woods yet. We must allow her to pace herself. How does he know this? How does he know what her condition is? Because I'm telling you, the person that I seen running out of the farmer's market, the person that I seen walking through the forest and through the meadows and leaping on top of that bale of hay certainly seems capable to me. The former communications secretary added, wait, Communications. You mean to tell me he's not a doctor, right? He's not a what is that? A hematologist or whatever? He's not anything with a okay. The former communications secretary, certainly not a doctor, added that any decision about future engagements would be made on advice, wait for it, will be made on advice of her medical team, adding it's not just about her, it's about the monarchy, it's about the United Kingdom, and it's about her family as well. Now, that's two times that he said family, right? For the sake of her health, the country, and her family. And down here is it's not about herself, it's about the United Kingdom, about her family, about the monarchy, the United Kingdom, and her family. This is all propaganda. This is Kensington Palace propaganda. They're reminding people don't expect much. And the truth is, had there been no surgery, had there been nothing different, right? You still couldn't expect anything. So, Charles, who is suffering from cancer, is going to Australia, right? Charles has been working, he's going to Australia. But if Kate feels like it, she will do what she feels like doing. I'm telling you, it's a little bit suspect. Lady T says so basically, she has pre scheduled her sick days. her what is that? Oh, my her what is it? Ooh woe is me day. Yeah, her ooh woe is me days. Absolutely, they have been scheduled in advance, just like every working class person in the world who has a family to care for and a staff of 62 people. You schedule these things. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, Dickie Arbiter, um, Arthur Edwards, who else? Carol Malone. All of these people are dispatched to go out and blanket the airways with the propaganda from the royal family. They're dispatched. They receive their talking points via email, and then they just go out there and do what they're supposed to do. And yes, I think Dickie Arbiter should be afraid after he said that thing about William letting um, Jason Knopf out of his what do you call it, confidentiality agreement. But he ain't that scared. He's not. He's more paid than he is afraid. Oh, yeah, that's next. That's next. That is next. You know, I do believe that there's some bad blood between both households because of the years of plotting that Will and Kate has done with that ready to rule, ready to be queen, ready to be king. They really um they really did a bad turn with Camilla and Charles. And Camilla and Charles never pushed back publicly. But when the time came, Camilla said, "Don't you dare wear any tiara on your head during the coronation." You got me? And what happened? Kate wore a bridal thing on her head. Yep. Okay. Oh, I forgot. There's more. Hold on. Not really a big article, but they had plenty to say. Veteran royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliam, not to leave him out, agreed and said it's extremely important for the future of the monarchy that she adapts a gradual approach and does what she feels she's able to do. Subject to course of medical advice when dealing with this deadly illness. She must do what she intends to do, stay cancer free as only priority. Again, the language that they're using about cancer free and such, um, I don't think it jives with the actual medical information. This is again something that the royal rodent is making up to make it sound more serious. Sources have been keen to stress that the meeting about her early years project this week does not, does not signal a full time resumption of duties. That's the meat of it right there. That is the meat. The meat is do not assume that I'm coming back to work, right? And that won't come back for some time. The road ahead still needs to be carefully navigated as her recovery is expected to extend into the new year. I thought it was 12 years, not the new year, 12 years, though her treatment has stopped. Although I have finished chemotherapy, we know about all that. Months and months and months, she slowly eased herself back into work has signed it, said attending some public engagements over the coming months. Key events in the royal diary are set to be prioritized, including Remembrance Day. I said that one, and that's November 10th. And Kate is keen to support the king and the rest of the royal family. Not really. However, sources stress that final decision will be made in the days before the event. Her physical and mental recovery will take some time. And although she wants to return, although she wants to return to work, she is mindful to prioritize her health for her family's sake as much as hers. Now, this is the third time they said that. Mr. Arbiter noted that the Festival of Remembrance at the Albert Hall the night before could also be a possibility. The princess is hopeful that she can attend her Together at Christmas. Oh, she'll be there. Carol service at Westminster Abbey in December and join the family. Aha, see there? Now, this is the first time I've seen this for the traditional walkabout on Christmas Day, which I said she was going to do that too. So, Remembrance Day, I forgot about that thing the night before. I don't think she's going to go to that. And then, of course, the church walk and the Christmas carol, and she is done until March, until the Commonwealth Day. She is done until Commonwealth Day. Let's see here. Carlita Simone, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex, where we always get down to the real information. Um, you know what? Like I said, she's so much better off than the majority of humanity in that she can pick and choose when she wants to and will not do something. Nothing has changed since 2011 when they got married. They have never been known to be hardworking people. Um, I just looked at a video earlier where there was a wreath laying ceremony at the Westminster Abbey, and Harry was there in 2017 as a single man, not Will and Kate, not William, Harry. And I could almost guarantee you that that was deliberate because William simply could not be bothered. And the same was for Kate. She could have done it. Harry was there. She has already started working with her team on plans for the carol service, which has fast become an important component in her diary. Princess launched the event in 2021. A source close to the royal said she's keen to uphold the tradition with her family again this year, alongside other causes, issues, and charities that are closest to her heart. The new year is set to follow similar gradual return to royal duties with aides mindful. You know what? I'm done because this is only repeating the same thing over and over again. We get it. You ain't coming back. Um, Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris, ridiculed for serving up word salad to Oprah Winfrey. Now, I was going to talk about this because it reminded me. Do you guys remember when Meghan went to New York? This is why the Sussex squad is so powerful. Take a look here. On the left side, could Kamala Harris inappropriate laughter and word salad be symptoms of a little known psychological condition? Well, the operative word, of course, word salad. And then over here on the right, fortuitous, was it fortuitous? Anyway, irrelevant and no sense of purpose. What a fitting backdrop Manhattan's women of vision made for a vapid Lemarco herself, fellow guest Maureen Callahan, sparkling account of Meghan's word salad gala appearance. Maureen Callahan went to this event just so that she could criticize Meghan. And truthfully, no matter what came out of her mouth, she was going to call it word salad. The Daily Mail chooses that language for anyone that is not racist, not conservative, not a nationalist right winger. Anything they say is called word salad. So, Alexis, I actually was looking, I Googled trying to find a reference to them using word salad for the vice president and the Duchess of Sussex. And I came across one of her old tweets, right? And I'm just like, obviously, when they said that thing about the two of them, she put them together. And I was, ironically, when they said that thing about the vice president yesterday, the first thing I was looking for was for the article from Maureen Callahan, who I have referred to as the albino assassin. I was looking for this article, and it just so happens that Alexis had both of them together, which lets you know that when you are trying to mess over the Sussexes, the Sussex squad instantly recalls a past article that we can reference to demonstrate the pattern from the tabloid media. So I didn't even have to look far. It was already there. Another squatty had found it. So there you go. And that's what happens once you start saving those receipts. It's so easy to see the patterns from the tabloids. And that's why they get so angry with the Sussex squad, is because of our ability to recall and the fact that we save our receipts. So when they have a change of heart about how they feel about someone, all you have to do is reference, well, what about back in 2017 when you said this or you said that? They don't like to get called out. That's why they block so many people on social media, because they want to have the ability to spread their lies and misinformation without anybody calling. I've had people block me on Twitter that I've never even like Victoria Arbiter. She blocked me. I've never tweeted or shared or wrote anything on her Twitter page. But the day I tried to find out what she was up to, I'm like, she blocked me. A whole bunch of them blocked me. PSTG, thank you so much for becoming a new member of Royal Sussex. And thank you so much for supporting Royal Sussex, where we pull out our receipts. Exactly, because they limit themselves to the lowest possible terminology. There's nothing imaginative about their abilities. They have a few references that they use repeatedly, and word salad is one of them. It's a way to try to drag a person down, to try to mock them, to try to diminish their education and intelligence. It's very easy. It's a cheap attack. It really is a cheap attack. But yeah, that Maureen Callahan, I'm telling you, she's a messy piece right there. She is a very, very messy piece of work. When she has it in for someone, she has it in for them. So, oh, I didn't even quote Alexis here, but Alexis says both Vice President Harris and Duchess Meghan attacked for their speeches. Could Kamala Harris, word salad, be a symptom of a little known psychological condition? Sparkling accounts of Meghan Markle's word salad gala appearance? Yeah, I noticed that the tabloids love to reference word salad. And the people that read it, that are going to agree with them, they're not going to say, well, let me see what the speech was about. Let me go and check it out for myself. That's not going to happen. They are just fine with people assuming the worst about a person, that they have been conditioned, brainwashed, gaslit, and everything else, that they have been trained to hate. Research is either they just have no access to correct information, they are too dumb to find. They're lazy, and they're lazy. Uh, Interview with Anderson Cooper, and he was so articulate and thoughtful, and all has come to pass on what he said. You know what? I'm going to have to go back and look at that again. Now you're going to make me go back and look at it again. Mm, I tell you, it well, I'll just say it one more time. They believe that reinforcing the fragility of Kate Middleton by overcompensating in every possible way, undermining her, um, assuming that she's should be on the disabled list when hardworking family people, hardworking parents actually challenge themselves to do more. It seems as though they're encouraging her to do less without even knowing what her actual um, medical situation is. They don't know what her condition is. They're just reinforcing the idea that we should not expect much, which leads me to believe that they were told, don't let people get too excited. Remind them that this is not permanent and that we should not expect much. They've only just had someone say that she was not coming back full time for 12 years until those kids go to college. So, which is accurate? And then, of course, Celibici went on to say that this is something that they were saying back in 2015, 2016, that Kate was never going to be a full time royal and that she was never going to work full time until those kids finished college. Now, with this mystery illness, since they won't tell us exactly what it is, with this mystery illness, it is all encompassing. So, whereas before it would have been, really, you're not going to do nothing? Now it's turned into, yeah, I can understand why she's not going to do nothing. Now they have what they need. Now, whether it's true or accurate, we don't know because they won't even tell you what it is. They won't tell you what Charles has. For the amount of money that family takes in, that's a whole lot of secrets. That's a whole lot of secrets. I remember hearing about Ronald Reagan's polyps. They removed a polyp from the colon or buttocks or whatever from the president of the United States. Okay. But don't worry, we're going to talk about that some more. I can assure you about that. Let me see here. I am truly fascinated to see how this is going to play out, though. If you want to know, I am fascinated to see how this is going to play out. I was fascinated before the appearance on the bench when she said she had cancer. I was fascinated, like probably since February, exactly how are they going to explain and justify this long extended absence. And coincidentally, ironically, when people kept pushing, then they finally fessed up and said, "Oh no, well, I've been sick. They found cancer, so on and so forth." And still, one has to say, wonder how this is going to play out because there's conflicting information coming from the palace, coming from the royal rota, and of course, coming from Kate herself, who's using medical terminology that doesn't seem to make sense with actual medical doctors. I'm trying to stay cancer free. I thought it takes like 5 years to determine whether or not a person is cancer free. That's all. Anyway, His Majesty has joined a discussion with a deputy prime minister representing from the Scottish Violence Reduction Unit and the King's Trust about the root causes of violence within communities and how more support could be given to young people to address this. Now, can you guess what impressed me about that image on the right? And I'll give you a hint. We just talked about it yesterday. Can you imagine what impressed me about that image on the right? And by the way, looking at Charles' face on the left side there, he looks absolutely terrified. Um, and you know what? Maybe it has something to do with that image on the. Maybe it has something to do with that. Okay, Lady T, that's close enough. That's close enough. They did not seat the black person right next to him. They did not seat the black person right next to him. He's actually one person away. And from the look on Charles' face, I think Charles was surprised that he was there in the first place. Charles is looking like a blah, 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 black. A blah, 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 black. Charles is looking like he's seen a ghost. He took a good look, a little glance to his right, and noticed that there is a black man at this table in Dumfries' house, of all places. There's never been a black man seated at this table in Dumfries' house. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm sure that Charles is just, the as you can see, the lighting in this photo has everyone kind of looking, startled. So I think the photo on the left, the lighting is really bad. And that's why he looks terrified, not because he sees a black person at the table in Dumfries' house with all those antiques and stuff. Reach out and touch somebody black and make sure all the cameras see that. Do you know it's been 6 years? It has been 6 years since the cookbook. 6 years today, September 20th, 6 years since the Hub our our cookbook. It's been 6 years. I could hardly believe it. 6 years. 6 years today. 6 years. And it's bittersweet because as much as I love this moment, um, the tabloid media did everything they could to taint and tarnish what was a beautiful event. Meghan comes to the firm, and even before she was married into the firm, she was already behind the scenes working with groups and individuals. Lex says, black shirt name tag not inconspicuous at all. uh, Let me go back here. No, not inconspicuous at all. Just kind of blending in there, right? And Charles is not startled either. No matter what anybody thinks, Charles is not completely startled by the appearance of a black man inside of Dumfries' house amongst all of those antiques. Okay, thank you for that, Legs. Let's see here. And of course, there's that green rice that I'm telling you, one of these days I got to try that rice. What a great occasion. And of course, Megan speaking flawlessly without notes. That's our Megan, flawlessly addressing the crowd without the use of any notes whatsoever. Just winging it, off the cuff, as they say.
Working on this project for the past 9 months has been a tremendous labor of love. I had just recently moved to London and I felt so immediately embraced by the women in the kitchen, your warmth and your kindness, and also to be able to be in the city and to see in this one small room how multicultural it was. On a personal level, I feel so proud to live in a city that can have so much diversity. It's 12 countries represented in this one group of women. It's pretty outstanding. There's so many people to thank. Of course, Penguin Random House in Ebury, your support and belief in this from the beginning has been just incredible. And Almanar, thank you so much for the support and seeing this through for us. Our team at Kensington Palace and the Royal Foundation. On a personal note, I'm especially grateful because this is my first project, so I appreciate your support and the vision that I had for this and seeing it come to fruition. And then everyone behind the scenes. I mean, it truly took a village to see this through. Home economists and photography and people donating their time and energy, even on the event today, to see this happen. Willow, Fitz, I mean, it's just, everyone embraced this so deeply because it's been a passion project for all of us and for very good reason. I said in the foreword that this is more than a cookbook. And what I mean by that is the power of food is more than just the meal itself. It is the story behind it. And when you get to know the story of the recipe, you get to know the person behind it. And that's what we're talking about in terms of coming together to really engage and talk and to be able to celebrate what connects us rather than what divides us. That, I believe, is the ethos of Together. So, to the women of the Hub Community Kitchen, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this adventure with you. I'm so privileged to know you. I'm so excited to see the projects you're going to continue to do in your own community, the community at large, and also how you're going to inspire people globally by sharing your stories and your recipes. It's so impactful. You can see just in a few days alone, and the book's not even out yet, what you've been able to do. That's a testament.
So, yes, Harry is looking absolutely proud. I mean, he is just brimming with pride, as well he should be. Look at him. Look at him. Um, you know, it was a missed opportunity. Oh, and by the way, thank you, 1960, for being here. It was a missed opportunity. Um, it was a chance for the royal family to look a little more regal, but they blew it. They blew it. Megan was enjoying her one of her, if not the first big success as a royal princess, as a duchess, and her mom's there, her husband is there looking proud and beaming, and that was just too much for the haters. Not the haters outside the institution, but the ones on the inside, the ones who can't work, refuse to work, choose not to work, never have worked. They're not capable of it, but they don't want her to have the glory either. There's something about being in service to humanity that is probably one of the most fulfilling things that you can do. One of the most fulfilling things you could do. There are many others, but It's right up there at the top. And some people choose not to do it. They just don't care to do it. They want to show up and get all the glory and admiration and such that they have not even earned. And then you have people that are actually part of problem solving, part of enhancing the lives of others from start to finish. And they're the ones that are vilified. People like to call them obnoxious. Um, oh, of course, what's they call them narcissists, which is what you call a person who does things that you won't do, you choose not to do, you can't do. You find some insult for them. You find some way to try to pit people against them, even though you won't do the work yourself. And that is the royal family. That is why they are in a downward spiral. That is why. Because they couldn't stand to see moments like this. And I actually, one of the articles where I found these photos, there were, no, actually, one of the Twitter accounts when I was researching this, there was someone who said back in 2020, "Where's the white people? How come there's no white people?" And then they put like 1,000 question marks followed by Brexit. That was 2020. Where are the white people? A bunch of question marks, and then they type Brexit. One of my favorite parts of the afternoon, of course, was Harry. Harry actually pinched some samosas. Harry thought that there was nobody paying attention to him. And when they were wrapping up, just before they left, Harry kind of dipped back over to the buffet table and rolled up something in some napkins, which you can see him kind of strolling around and smiling. And then he notices the cameras on him, and then he lets out with the big smile. There's a video for that, which I could not share that one because it's on another YouTube channel. But there's a video for that moment where Harry grabs the samosas. And if you really want to see it desperate enough, uh, you can go and Google, well, search um, Prince Harry's samosas, and eventually, with a little work, you will find the video on various social media. So if you want to see it, it's very cute, and again, it is available. Yeah, that was so much fun. That was so much fun seeing him do that. He's all looking around, and then it's like, oh hey, oh hey. Speaking of the Duchess of Sussex, Archetypes has just uploaded upending the angry black woman myth with Issa Rae and is it Ziwi? Okay. Anyway, this thought-provoking and stirring episode, Meghan gets to the bottom of the label that has often pinned on black as often that is often pinned on black women, angry. In her raw conversation with Issa Rae, coupled with a candid chat with a professional and Professor Emily Bernard, this episode has honest questions about the judgments that we make about women, and specifically women of color. It begs the question: does setting boundaries, having an opinion, and being clear make you angry or human? So, um, if you go to the Limonada, You can find archetypes there. And well, they just uploaded this one today. So go and check it out. And let's see. Hello. Hello. Queen Camilla could become TikTok's first royal influencer. I said Queen Camilla, the Queen consort, could be TikTok's first royal influencer. How is that possible? Well, she's trying to get this whole book club thing started. Now, she was doing a podcast about books. Now, I guess she's trying to get onto the TikTok. So, very soon, um, that wise, saged, dry, crevassed uh, face that you see there with fissures and anyway, she's going to become an influencer. That's right. She's going to become an influencer. Um, Now, I have been very liberal about TikTok in that I don't believe that they are detrimental to most people. However, if they put Camilla, the Queen Consort, on there, then I believe Congress needs to step in. Yes, the United States Congress needs to step in. That should not be allowed. Yes, thank you, Connie Balmer. Influencer in adulterous marriages? Exactly. Exactly. How to be a home wrecker. How to choose the dressmaker for your rival who died mysteriously in a tunnel in Paris, right? How to move your stepchildren further and further away from their sole living parent while undermining them and leaking and briefing against them all at the same time. Here, here, touche. Leg says she's always been under the influence. Absolutely. It's hard to know when she's not sideways, right? She's like the poster child for influence. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. It wasn't that long ago that it seemed to be images of her pouring out of a tavern, if I recall. Right? See if I can find that. uh, where am I? Where am I? Yep, there you go. There she goes, pouring out of a pub. Yeah, she looks like a walking, talking pint of Guinness. Yep, that's it. That's the body language. And the thing I'm trying to figure out is, do the Royal Protection Officers know where she is? Right? Along with missing schnauzers and poodles and what do you call it, bloodhounds. I wonder if there's any posters on that same street lamp that has images of the Queen Consort. How much is that consort in the window? The one with the wrinkly tail. Yes, how much is that consort in the window? I am going to imagine that you can probably get it for 1 pence. 1 pence, that's all it takes. Let's see. When it comes to being influential, Well, we know where the influence comes from. Hello, is this the Daily Mail? Senior Royal here. We already know she's a great storyteller. Matter of fact, they all got stories to tell. You got Senior Palace Source, Royal Insider, Palace Source, and Royal Aid. Pick or choose. There's plenty people in there that's telling the story, making it up as they go along, of course. Anyway, you guys, I believe I am done. Oh, not yet. Not yet. I still got this. No crowds, embarrassing Prince William moment caught on camera. A day out for Prince of Wales has resulted in startling scene that should have the palace and the royal family seriously cringing. So this Daniela Elser, I don't think she's much of a friend to the Sussexes at all. I think that she's usually more of a royalist, but either way, I don't know her so well, but I do know that she didn't hesitate to call this one out. Yeah, it's really takes something to cause an involuntary wave of sympathy for the royal prince with a multi-billion-dollar trust and four houses and a wife who is one hug away from being what is that? What is it? Beatified? That means like what do you call it? Saint, becoming a saint, right? I forgot how you say that. So meet some, yeah. So meet something, or maybe should be somewhere with the Scottish city of Aberdeen, uh, having put on quite an astonishing reception for the arrival of Prince William, or the Duke of Rothesay, as he is known north of the border. The poor chap said, with a good chunk of tongue firmly wedged in cheek, oh dear. Generally, it's his brother, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, who is imitate. I'm sorry, who Duke of Sussex on intimate terms with most Bolshevik red and ruby faced, but today it's the prince's turn. Oh God. Anyway, imagine for a moment you are the next king of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Don't worry about your hairline. You're working on a beard. Shade. You have been raised under the vaulted ceilings of the most rarefied palaces in the world and under the watchful eye of Rembrandts in the nursery. You have been peppered for 1,000-year-old throne since you were old enough to throw a solid silver rattle at a cowering footman. Well, this is quite the writer, isn't she? But whatever the case may be, there's nobody there. Um, it was very embarrassing, and dare I say, exactly what he deserves. William right hand man. Oh, yeah, this is about yeah, William's right hand man. The Prince of Wales is joined by his dashing equerry. Now, that was from July of 2024. Lieutenant Commander Rob Dixon has worked for the royal household since 2020, where his first official title was Royal Equerry to the HRH Duke of, I guess that is the Duke of, well, anyway, that's how long he's been with Prince William. William's new right hand man unveiled, and he shares two key traits. So, is that from today? Oh, no, that is from Rob. Okay, and then the next one, oh, that's June 20. No, all of these must be from June. Nope, that's 2024. Well, anyway. Okay. Well, the point is, so long, Rob Dixon. He's going back to the Air Force or Royal Air Force, and William is getting a new equerry, which I shared that with you yesterday. Now, happy birthday to Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, Queen Letizia of Spain, and Prince Daniel, Duke of Vastergotland. Vastergotland. I didn't know that Letizia and Harry shared the same birthday, along with Prince Daniel of he's Sweden, right? Prince Daniel of Sweden. Anyway, the three of them share the same birthday. How about that? And that, of course, being September 15th. Just like I had no idea until, Meghan came along that Barack Obama and Cookie shared the same birthday. And then we find out that Meghan, Barack, and Cookie share the same birthday, which is August 4th. So, yeah, there's some royals that all have the same birthdays. The ones on the right, the 15th of September, and the ones on the left, 15th of September, the ones on the right, the 4th of August. Well, they come in threes, huh? And the way I found out about that is because there was a viral video on TikTok pointing out the fact that, remember I said Harry and Letizia was laying a wreath at Westminster Abbey? Well, I believe they laid the wreath, and it was both their birthdays. I think so. So there you go. Is that right? Was it their birthday? I think so. Prince Harry and Queen Letizia. I don't know how that happened. Whenever they do an update on the iOS, there's always some type of bugs to work out. So I don't know what happened. Sorry about that. Oh, we didn't hear anything before the equerry. Really? Well, what I was going to say is, how is it that for years, since 2020, I knew nothing about Rob Dixon? It seems to me like there is a new liberated Rob Dixon who gets to share more of the limelight rather than being hidden away for whatever reason. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, instead of being hidden away for whatever reason, but it seems like they have been hiding him. Have you all seen Rob Dixon before the past like few months? Because I don't recall seeing him. I do not recall seeing Rob Dixon. This is the first I've heard of him. I did not know that William had an equerry. I've have not seen them photographed together until, like I said, very recently. It seems like when the beard came out, Rob Dixon came out. No pun intended. And as much as I've kept up with, the Cambridges, now the Wellses, I've this is the first I've seen of Rob Dixon. So really, yeah. Well, like I said, I did not know anything about him. I mean, I certainly knew about Queen Elizabeth's equerry, who became King Charles III's equerry. What's his name? The one that was at the prayer service for, that time when he was sitting behind the Sussexes. That was the first I had noticed him. So I kind of feel like he's been hiding in plain sight, as though almost as a way to celebrate their partnership, their connection, their friendship, their camaraderie, as a way to celebrate a successful 4 years. um, Rob Dixon has the opportunity to share a little bit of the limelight. That's the only thing I can think of, because other than that, where the hell has he been? Where has Rob Dixon been? It seems like I would have noticed um, this very scruffy, bearded young man who is allowed to have a beard where others aren't. As a matter of fact, I am going to Google Rob Dixon. I don't know why that keeps happening. Oh, man. Okay. Well, at least I got through most of the show without a problem. And I don't think I've like touched anything. It just stopped working. Well, like I say, they just updated the iOS, and there might be a little bug in the system. Yep, it might be a little bug in the system. So gonna have to keep an eye out for that, because I promise you I didn't do anything. I just showed up from work, but I'm gonna do some research and try to figure out why this is happening. Let me see. That's right. They don't want us talking about little Rob the equerry. Thank you, Legs. They don't want us talking about that equerry who seemed to have materialized from nowhere, who seemed to be very. I mean, wait a minute. Does he actually have his hand on William's back? I'm just wondering why I have not seen this young man before. But I think Harry said it best. Harry thought that maybe if his father married Godzilla, that maybe they would be a much nicer, that she would be a much nicer person and wouldn't hurt people. And maybe if William can live his truth without fear of prejudice or any um, I guess ill feelings or whatever, maybe maybe he would be a nicer person if he's able to grab a pulled pork sandwich whenever and wherever he chooses. Then maybe he would be a nice person. Reach out and grab a pulled pork sandwich, and maybe you wouldn't be such a reach out. Yes, if you reach out and touch a pulled pork sandwich, maybe you wouldn't be such a incandescent with rage. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Woo! Um, well, the new equerry is here on the right side. His name is uh, Squadron Leader Mike Reynolds. Mike Reynolds also has a full head of hair and a nice beard. Yeah, he's also bearded. Ooh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Thank you, Lex. Reach out and grab a pulled pork sandwich, and maybe you wouldn't be such a reach out and touch a pulled pork sandwich, and maybe you wouldn't be such a uh okay. I believe that this episode of Royal Sussex has gone into a downward spiral. And before things degrade any further, I think we should call it a day. Yes, let's call it a day. Hopefully, this bug with the microphone will work itself out tomorrow. I don't know what's happening, but I will try to find some information so that it won't happen again. Uh, let's see, Jelaine Monist, is it Monestein? Thank you so much for joining us, but we're about to go. But I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate you spending some time with us. Oh, lost some of his feathers. That's an understatement. Yes, he has lost some of his feathers. Let me see. Rob was born in Birmingham. He was awarded a doctorate in international relations by the University of Wales. Okay, and is married to Dora Blazak Dixon. They have one son. That's interesting. William's married, and well, he's certainly not. Uh, uh, he certainly doesn't have a big education. And well, anyway, that's interesting. So at least they have fatherhood in common. Yeah, they have fatherhood in common. Oh, thank you, Faith Miller. I did not know that, but it's interesting. Johnny Thompson. That's the other equerry. Johnny Thompson. Johnny, Rob, and now Mike. Well, you know what? I'm glad the Queen had Johnny Thompson before she passed away. Nice little, nice little arm candy to say farewell to life. You know what I'm saying? At least she had something nice to look at. on her way out. But I tell you what, I am going to scrutinize every old video of William that I find, or every old photo, and I'm going to do my best to try to find images of Rob Dixon, because it seems like he has materialized out of nowhere. Oh, yeah, apparently no outrage over the number of equerries he goes through. Yeah, he changes equerries like some people change their drawers. I wonder if Rob Dixon went to Poland, where we first learned about William's affinity for the pulled pork sandwich. Prince William in Poland? Check, check, one, two, three. Okay. So, I don't know what's going on. Okay. Well, I see it's working again. This is so weird. How did I get this far without incident? And now all of a sudden, there seems to be issues. Audio avatar. What is the audio avatar? Oh, that's what the audio avatar is. Okay. Well, you guys, I guess that means we should call it a day, because this right here is getting weird. Okay, I'm gonna probably edit the end of this off of here, because it's a nuisance. Okay. Carlene Beckford, thank you for being here. Hi, Elsa St. Louis. Saint Louis. Elsa Saint Louis is French. Elsa Saint Louis. That's French, y'all. En français. Okay. Love you guys. I will see you next time. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this the safe space that it has always been. And prayers to Dorothy Ross, who's been going through a tough time lately. And let's see, there's a few of y'all. Church Nelly has been going through a spot of bother. There's a few people that are in need of prayer. So make sure that you all keep the squad in your prayers. And remember, we don't hate anyone in the Sussex squad, but we do like to mock and belittle and kind of tear them down a little bit when they get out of pocket, because, well, that's what they deserve. Uh, okay, because that's what they deserve, and I'm here for it. All right, I'll see you guys next time.